1st, 2022. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Had a nice little layoff for the holiday season. Hope you guys enjoyed your time with your families, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, what have you. Welcome back to BlowinSteam. My name is Dean Ferezza. I am your gracious host, and I got a nice little podcast for you guys today. We're going to go into and break down my top moments in sports in 2022. There was a lot of interesting things that occurred in 2022. I didn't realize how many players who are potentially the best of their generation, first ballot Hall of Famers. I didn't realize how many players of that nature hung it up in 2022. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, Roger Federer, Serena Williams, Shaun White. There's a lot of once-in-a-generation talents that are no longer playing at the professional level anymore. I stepped away from the professional level after the 2022 year. And we're going to break that down, get into the top 10 moments in sports of 2022. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit of Jets-Seahawks, a game that means absolutely the world for the Jets. The Jets somehow, some way, after fucking the debacle at the Meadowlands on a Thursday night game versus the Jaguars, the Jets still somehow, some way, because the AFC is just that bad, have a 92% chance of making the playoffs. The Dolphins can't get out of their own way. Tua's concussed again. I think Tua's done. We'll get into that. Too many concussions. I don't think this kid can ever play football again. He's going to be walking around drooling on himself before the age of 40 if he continues to play football. It's just getting dangerous at this point. He can't take the blows to the head anymore. We'll get into that. We'll break that down. The Patriots just can't win a game. They cough games away. Imagine if the Jets would have just won one game against the Patriots. Just one. We wouldn't be in this fucking predicament. We wouldn't even be talking about winning the next two to get in. The Jets would be writing their own destiny. They just needed one. They just needed one. They would have to win two out of the last three, and they probably would have been in the playoffs. But now the pressure's all on the Jets to win the next two. It's a tough game. They're going into Seattle. Seattle's also competing for a wild card spot. Geno Smith, revenge game. Don't think that it's not on his mind. He gets a shot to knock the Jets out of the playoffs. He's probably sitting there salivating, waiting, hoping to drop a 30 spot on the Jets. The Jets need to come to play on Sunday. Need to come to play. We'll get into that. We have some hot stove news in baseball with what's going on with this Correa deal. Still not getting done because of the injury. We'll talk about that. And then tonight we have the two playoff games in college football. TCU is going up against Michigan, and then you have Georgia facing off against Ohio State. Two great games. In my opinion, the four best teams in the nation. Rightfully so. They should be there. They should be playing in these games. We'll break down those games too, and we'll get into that as well. But let's start today with saying goodbye to 2022. 2022 was a year, folks. I mean, you had a Winter Olympics this year. You had a World Cup this year. Okay? Those are two monumental moments in sports, and they occurred in the same year. You have those two things going on. You had retirements of significant players. You had championships that were won in crazy ways, comebacks that were never seen before. You had probably one of the best playoff games in NFL history. So good that they changed the overtime rules moving forward in the playoffs. There was a lot going on. Players breaking records in baseball. A lot of things occurred in 2022. I'm going to start off with my number 10 moment of 2022, and it's going to go to Big Ben's final farewell. Now, Roethlisberger is one of the top, if not 5 quarterbacks of my lifetime. The guy's a gamer. He was always on the field. In Roethlisberger's prime, it seemed like it was almost impossible to take this guy down with one rusher. You had to send 5 people at him, and he had to be tackled by 3 of them. He was unbelievable at escaping the pocket, moving the pocket with his feet, seeing the guys down the field and making plays. So Ben finally hung it up after 18 seasons. Roethlisberger, of course, the Steelers are having a down year in the 2021-2022 season. They go on this late season run, fueled by the fact that Roethlisberger is hanging it up, and they wind up making the playoffs. I mean, the Steelers made the playoffs, it seems, every single year that Roethlisberger was in Pittsburgh. Well, and they were over 500 almost every single year that Roethlisberger is in Pittsburgh. This is the consistency that a professional quarterback brings to the position. Winning, accountability. These are the things that in Pittsburgh they had for 18 seasons. Every year they knew they could compete for a Super Bowl. Every year they knew they were going to have a winning season. They were probably going to win the division. You know what that must be like? I mean, give me something like that once in my life. Somebody who can compete every year, and I know this guy's our quarterback. We have a shot. Every year we have a shot. I've never seen that. We've never seen that. Jets fans have never seen that. Roethlisberger comes back, announces the retirement. Steelers go on a late season run. They make the playoffs. They lose 42-21 to the Chiefs. Ben accolades, 2-time Super Bowl champion. He was a Super Bowl MVP, NFL Rookie of the Year, 6-time Pro Bowler. I mean, Roethlisberger's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Must be nice. Pittsburgh just gets these great quarterbacks all the time. This kid Pickett looks like he's going to be legit. They had Roethlisberger for 18 seasons. They had Teddy Bradshaw for 12 seasons. Cordell Stewart for a couple of seasons. Like they're never in quarterback hell. There's always a predecessor and the protege. Predecessor, protege. Predecessor, protege. It must be nice. So my number 10 moment is the number 7, hanging it up in 2022. Hell of a career. Going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Again, we'll never see anything like that as Jet fans, ever. I'm just convinced. I'm convinced that we're just going to sit in quarterback mediocrity until the day I die. Hopefully Mike White is the thing. Listen to what I'm saying. We're wishing for Mike White to be the real deal. I love Mike White, but just once. Could we hit in the draft just once? Like Pittsburgh hit in the draft on Roethlisberger. They hit in the draft on Pickett. They hit in the draft on Terry Bradshaw. When are the Jets going to hit in the draft? Just once. Just once hit in the draft. But yeah, shout out to Big Ben. And moving on. It's fucking unbelievable. They just get my blood pressure dialed up so early. Everything always goes back to the Jets. Always. Because we can never figure it out. We can just never figure it the fuck out. Got me sitting there in the rain on a fucking Thursday night watching Zach Wilson shit himself. Horrible. Horrific. God, I hate that kid. I hate him. I hate him. I know I said it once before. I can't do it anymore. I think the organization finally realized that, this kid, not it. We're cutting ties. Thank God. I could have told Joe Douglas that 5 months before they wanted to fucking draft him. Should hire me as a fucking personnel to the GM, assistant, whatever. I won't even fucking take pay. Just please, so I no longer have frustration. Just come to me and see what I think about players before you fucking draft them. I was right about Darnold. I was right about Wilson. I don't know. I was right about Geno Smith. The Jets just love to fucking make my blood pressure go up and my chances of a heart attack rise every single day. Moving on, though. We're going to number 9. Folks, this game was unbelievable. This is the number 9 moment. The NFC divisional playoff game was insane. It was a game that nobody really wanted to end. It was back and forth, tit for tat. Mahomes down 7, 11 seconds left. Quick pass over the middle to Kelsey for 30 yards to get a game-tying 50-something yard field goal to send it to overtime. Unbelievable game. My number 9 moment of the 2022 sports season, I guess we'll call it, is that Chiefs versus Bills divisional game. Absolute thriller. Ended 42-36. Chiefs wound up walking it off on the Bills. Amazing game. It was a game that you were glued to your seat from kickoff to the final whistle. It was a game that was so good that the NFL really didn't want it to end that way. And sure enough, the fucking rules committee after the season had a fucking meeting and agreed to change the overtime rules because of this game. So now it's not the team that first possesses the ball can walk off into the sunset with a touchdown. The other team will get a chance to possess, like college football. So this is monumental, this game. This game is monumental in terms of the impact it's going to have on the NFL playoffs for years to come. It was just an absolute shootout. Two of the best quarterbacks in the league, two of the best offenses in the league. Mahomes, Allen, back and forth. This is what puts asses in the seats in the NFL. I think they realized they missed out on the fact of not having Allen being able to possess the ball one last time and truly do something special. So, shout out to the rules committee. I love the rules change, but we'll see. I mean, these two can meet again this year in the championship game. Two juggernauts. I mean, as much as I love some of the other teams in the AFC, maybe the Bengals can be there, but the Bills and the fucking Chiefs, man, Mahomes is just rolling. Allen just makes it look easy. Every week he makes it look easy. Hell of a game. Definitely in my top 10, and they hit the number 9 spot with this one. Number 8, it was talked about, but not really talked about that much, but my number 8 moment is David Ortiz becomes the first ever DH inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he got inducted into the Hall of Fame by himself, class by himself. Nobody else went with him. Monumental moment. Ortiz, fantastic player with the Red Sox. Had a little bit of time with the Twins in the beginning of his career. Great leader. An inspiration to his city after the terrible Boston Marathon bombings. Really a great person in the community in Boston and a great fucking player. I mean, Ortiz, 2,500 hits, 500 home runs. Right there, boom, bang. Instant for me, Hall of Fame. You hit 500 home runs, over 2,500 hits, you're in. You're in for me. 10-time All-Star, 7 Silver Sluggers, World Series MVP in 2013, 3-time World Series champion. I mean, the guy did it all in his career. And he did it all at a position that's never had a guy solely go in for just hitting. So, shout out to David Ortiz, Big Papi, favorite of mine, always was a favorite ball player of mine. Historical moment, first to ever do it, and huge that even Big Papi's still here on this earth after what happened to him in the DR. And fucking being robbed at gunpoint. Fucking incredible story in itself. The guy survived that. And shout out to him for making the list here. And obviously he's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book. Gotta give you your props to David Ortiz. Broke a lot of Yankee fans' hearts over the years, and that's really why he's deep in my heart. For all the disappointment that he put on Yankee fans' faces. That's my guy. I ride with David Ortiz for that one. Heading into number 7, Olympic legend, Shaun White. He hung it up after the 2022 Olympic Games. Did his last competition in the half pipe, came in 4th, Shaun White, really, to our generation, the people my age, he made fucking skiing and snowboarding cool. He had the fucking long red hair, kind of like that surfer boy attitude, like always seemed stoned, mad lax, would go into these half-pipe competitions and absolutely just shred it. Hitting fucking 720s, doing 1080 barrel rolls and shit. He was just unbelievable to watch. And he was really a big influence in the United States to the kids around my age to fucking get into skiing, to get into snowboarding. And, I mean, 3-time Olympic gold medalist in the half-pipe, 13-time gold medalist in the Winter X Games. The dude was a savage, an absolute savage. I personally, really got into winter sports because of him, watching him in the X Games, watching him in the Olympics. And yeah, I mean, a legend like that, these guys come around once in a generation, folks. Like, I don't know if my generation will see another Shaun White, if my generation will see another Ortiz or Roethlisberger, these guys that are hanging it up, it makes me feel old, but at the same time, I'm proud that I was able to witness these people do it. So shout out to Shaun White. He goes into the sunset, and he's the number 7 on the top 10 of the 2022 moments in sports. Moving on, number 6. This game was fucking incredible. Incredible. I remember watching it in my living room. A bunch of the boys were around. Halftime of this game, I thought North Carolina was going to win by 30. Kansas looked awful. Couldn't even move the ball around. Constantly turning it over. And we're talking about the men's college basketball championship of 2022. Kansas versus North Carolina. Absolutely unbelievable game. Largest comeback in championship history in NCAA men's basketball. Down 15 at half. Kansas came out and started smoking. They were moving the ball up and down at will, getting fast break layups, playing really great defense, lockdown defense. The game was exciting to watch because everybody had North Carolina in the room, but me and Joe Boyle had Kansas. Made some money on that one. Shout out to the boy. Amazing game to watch. It's just, again, it was one of those moments where it was the first time a team has ever come down from fucking 15 points or more and won a game. I mean, that's hard to do, especially in championship moments like that, especially when North Carolina had so much momentum. They were just mauling them in the first half. I mean, it really did look like it was going to be a 30-point blowout game. But Kansas fucking bit down on the carpet and fucking said, nah, fuck this. We're not going out like this. And they shout out to them. Great basketball game. All-time comeback. That's why it's got to be the number 6 moment to me, because of just the way in which they came back and the deficit they were down by at halftime. Huge comeback win for Kansas. National champions 2022. What can I say? I was glad I was alive to watch it. I was glad I was alive to make some money on it. Awesome game. Awesome game. The 5 spot, I'm splitting it between 2 of the best baseball players I've ever seen in my life. And the accomplishments, Jesus, get it out, accomplishments they made this year. And one of them walked away from the game. The other one is still playing, going into his 20th season. But these 2 guys are the reason why kids my age played baseball. They looked up to these guys. These guys were the best players of my generation. One of them, I think, is the best player ever, in my honest opinion. But the 5 spot, again, is going to be split between Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. Cabrera, this year, got his 3,000th hit. I mean, this guy's done everything, folks. He's done everything. 12-time All-Star, World Series champion 03, 7 Silver Sluggers, 2 MVP seasons, 500 homers, and 3,000 hits. For sure, he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. He's still playing, going into the 20th season now with the Tigers not hanging it up yet. Miguel Cabrera is, to me, the second best player I've watched since I was a kid. I mean, just consistency. The guy's a 296 hitter, a 296 lifetime hitter. Like, think about the consistency. This guy had to be batting in the threes or the upper twos every year for 20 years. Unbelievable. 3,000 hits. Not many people do it. 500 homers and 3,000 hits. Not many people do it ever. Unbelievable career for Miguel Cabrera. I'm a big fan of Miggy. When he fires, he's for sure first ballot, probably 90%. The guy's never had controversy, really. Respected by a lot of players in the league. And does a lot for the city of Detroit. He does a lot in the community. So Detroit's lucky to have a Miguel Cabrera for as many years as they had Miguel Cabrera, a consistent force in the lineup. I know now, towards the back end of his career, he's not the Miggy of his early 30s. He's not the Miggy of his late 20s. But Cabrera is still a consistent force in the lineup. He still come up with the clutch hit. Shout out to him, man. Fucking great career. Going to be a Hall of Famer without a doubt. Love Miggy. Loved watching his career from afar. Obviously playing in the AL. And I'm an NL fan with the Mets. I don't see Miguel every day. I just see what I see on TV, highlights, whatever. Consistency, man. Consistency. We never get players like this. The teams I root for, we never get guys like this that have consistent 290 seasons with 100 RBIs, with 30 home runs. I've never seen that. The people are so lucky to see players like this play every single day, especially when you're a deprived, miserable fan like I am. Deprived and miserable. Don't see great talent often. Had to watch guys like Mo Vaughn, Todd Zeile, fucking Joe McEwing, Jay Payton. And you people get players like Miguel Cabrera for 20 plus years. Be happy. You don't have to go through what I go through. Watching Ty Wigginton. Watching guys like fucking Jason Bay come to New York, take monster money, and suck his entire career here. Praying that guys like Andy Chavez can help your franchise. This is what I've gone through. This is my suffering. So if you were a Detroit Tigers fan, if you're a Florida Marlins fan, and he won you a World Series in 03, be appreciative for Miggy because, Jesus, I've never seen anything like him. Starting to see it now, but for 20 plus years, I never saw anything like him as a fan. So we're going to put Miggy in the 5B spot. 5A, Albert Pujols. What can you say about Albert Pujols, man? The guy hit his 700th home run this year. Another guy that's surefire, first ballot, Hall of Fame, without a doubt. Without a doubt. His numbers just speak for themselves. The guy's a lifetime 296 hitter, 703 home runs, 3,384 hits, 22 seasons in the league, 6 Silver Sluggers, 3 MVPs, 11-time All-Star. The game of baseball and baseball fans are greatly going to miss Albert Pujols. That's a guy who every year the Cardinals, the Angels, what have you, they could count on Pujols hitting 30 home runs, driving in 90 guys, and batting 290. Consistency. I'll just keep going back to it. These guys, these fucking once-in-a-generation talents, what they all have in common is the consistency to perform year in and year out. Albert Pujols is, my opinion, the greatest player to ever play the game. Period. Stop. Yeah, you can give me Hank Aaron. You can give me fucking Babe Ruth. Whatever, man. Albert Pujols was facing the prime of the prime pitching. Guys throwing 90 fucking 8, 98 and up consistently. Not guys that were cutting meat at a grocery store during the night shift and then would come to the park in the afternoon and play their game. I mean, give me a fucking break with the people from the 1900s being the best players of all time. Really, like, we need to sit down and have that conversation too. Like, these guys they had to have 2 jobs just to survive. You can't tell me that these men were also some of the best players of all time. Great, they did what they did in the generation that they did it, but this is the best generation of baseball ever. Everybody is a flamethrower on the mound. Everybody can fucking bring it with 5, 6, 7 different pitches. And Albert Pujols was the best to ever do it. You hit 700 fucking home runs in this league with the talent that's in this league, pitching-wise, you get all your flowers from me. And then you have close to 3,400 hits on top of that. If there's a guy that doesn't vote for Albert Pujols, who's a writer for Cooperstown, he's not and doesn't want to give him the unanimous 100%, he's doing it because he's a douchebag. There's not one argument against Pujols. He never had a steroid controversy. He never was a fucking dick to reporters or had any incidents on the field, off the field. The guy's married with 4 kids to the same woman for 30-plus years, 20-plus years. There's nothing negative about Albert Pujols. So to you Cooperstown writers, I know you're not listening to this podcast, but I'm just going to act like you are. If you don't vote unanimously for Albert Pujols to go to the Hall of Fame, you're a cuckold. And your wife gets fucked while you video camera it. Loser. You're a fucking loser if you don't unanimously vote for Albert Pujols to get in. He's the greatest of all time. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's the fucking greatest. MVPs, home runs, hits, all-star games, silver sluggers. I mean, this guy, he's done it all. He's done it all. At the highest level, he's done it all. So to me, unanimous Hall of Famer. Unanimous. And if he's not, it's a fucking shame. And it's because these people who are these writers for the Hall of Fame, they think they're more important than who they are. They're just fucking low-life pieces of shit. I gotta be honest. Shout out to Albert Pujols, man. He's my 5A. 2 great players splitting a top spot in a season. Miggy with the 3,000th hit. Pujols with the 700th home run. 2 unbelievable achievements in the hardest sport there is. There's nothing harder than hitting a baseball, especially when it's coming at you at 99 miles per hour with movement. Shout out to those 2 guys, generational players, 2 of the best of all time. The number 4 moment for me, we're going to completely go off the radar here. Not many people pay attention to this shit. I don't really care if you do or you don't. Horse racing, man. What happened in the Kentucky Derby this year will never happen again. An 80-1. 80-1. I had $300. I had $300 in tickets on the Kentucky Derby. I didn't have a single ticket on this fucking horse. An 80-1 long shot won the Kentucky Derby. It's unheard of. Unheard of. And the even crazier part about this whole story is the horse was added to the race on a Thursday night. Didn't know if it was going to be in it or not. The horse has never won any race. Hasn't finished better than 3rd in its fucking career. Was added to the race on a Thursday night. The race is Saturday afternoon. Okay? Are you guys fucking following along here? The horse was bought for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. They were actually going to stop racing this horse after this race, and they were just going to send him out to stud. That's what this is like. This horse was just going to fuck the rest of his life. That's all he was going to do. He was going to fuck, create babies, and that's it. This mutt of a horse, I say mutt with compassion, comes to the Kentucky Derby and beats these pedigree horses at the longest odds in history, 80-1. Couldn't have $5 on that ticket, Dean? $5? 80-1. How about $2? Make half the money back on the losing tickets that you had. Unfucking believable. And wins the race by a fucking nose. It wins the race by a nose. Unreal. Unreal. And you know what the craziest part about this is? That horse was the 22nd horse in the race. It's the first time in Kentucky Derby history, that there was 22 horses in a race. My mom, I love my mother, on Saturday when she found that out, thought about it, didn't place it. February 22nd is my grandmother's birthday, my Nana. Love you to death. She's no longer with us. She's been gone for about 4 years now. When she heard the 22nd, my grandmother being born on the 22nd, she wanted to play the ticket, decided against it because of the odds of the horse. And after the race, my mother was kicking herself in the head, to be honest. So was my whole entire family, because we all had money on this race, and nobody wanted to pick the 80-1 long shot. I mean, there's 4 of us. Like, nobody had in their brain, like, hey, maybe we should throw $5 on the long shot. Maybe. Rich Strike, unbelievable story, unbelievable background for a horse that, like, literally was down and out to win one of the biggest races in fucking breeder history is unbelievable. 80-1. 80-1. I get sick every time I think about this fucking horse winning the Kentucky Derby at 80-1 and not having a single dollar on this horse. Makes me want to throw up. But it's my life, you know. Down and out, no luck. No luck whatsoever. Why would I have money on the horse that's 80-1? That's the number 4 moment for 2022. We're moving on. Keep the vibes up on a guy that I did have money on. Okay? We had money on this guy. The number 3 moment for me, the kick heard around the fucking world. If you're a UFC fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This kick was heard from fucking Shanghai to fucking Los Angeles to Antarctica to fucking Australia. I mean, Leon Edwards knocking out a guy in Kamaru Usman who, to this point, looked like he would never lose in the welterweight division. He's a boring... Listen, I'm not a fan of Usman. He's boring. He's not exciting. But the guy is great at controlling the fights and making them go the way he wants to go. He wants to grapple. He wants to just sit on top of you. Okay? He's not flashy. He's just going to work the point system, get his takedowns, get on top of you, have control, and win fights. Okay? And he was, to this point in the fight, it's the 5th round, probably leaning 3-1 Usman at this point. Usman just can't get knocked out. We're all in my house. There's about 10 of us upstairs. We're watching this fight, and we're like, yo, like, when is Leon Edwards just going to let it go? Like, dude, you're down 2 rounds on the fucking card. The only way you're going to win this fight is if you knock this dude out. Just let your hands go, bro. Like, I'm screaming it at the TV at this point. Of course, we all have tickets on Leon Edwards because everyone hates Kamaru Usman, so we want to see a guy come in. Edwards was a decent dog that night. I probably want to say he was close to, like, plus 250, maybe close to plus 300. we want to see a new champ. I mean, Usman, pro's pro, get it. Boring as fuck. Does not put asses in the seats for the UFC. I'm sure the UFC really wanted Leon Edwards to win this fight too. Because Kamaru Usman's not a draw. He's not a draw for me. I normally do not buy his pay-per-view fights because they're fucking boring. To watch the guy stomp on somebody's toes for 5 rounds like he did against Jorge Masvidal the first time? I'm good. Guy's boring as shit. So yeah, the UFC probably wanted this result. Well, I'm sure as shit we all wanted the result because A, we wanted to win money. B, we wanted to see fucking a new champ in the welterweight. There's 3 minutes left in the round at this point, maybe 2. Edwards is just not letting it go. I'm now getting the folding chairs that are in my living room, gathering them up, bringing them to my closet, and putting them away. And I'm cursing this guy out the whole entire time I'm doing it. I'm screaming, Leon Edwards, you fucking pussy, you fucking loser. Just let your fucking hands go. Couldn't just let your hands go. You're a fucking loser. Go out in your shield. Go out in your shield, you fucking loser. I'm getting so aggravated. I'm throwing these fucking chairs back into my closet. Bringing the chair back now to the closet, and all of a sudden everybody starts screaming, oh my God! Oh my God! I'm like, of course I missed it. I fucking missed it. I come back, Kamaru Usman is fucking getting sung a lullaby, bro. This guy's on another planet, out completely cold. What the fuck happened? I'm screaming, what the fuck happened? What the fuck just happened? This guy fucking Edwards is jumping on top of the cage, jumping over the cage, going over to Dana White. I'm waiting for the replay. Joe Rogan is in such a fucking high off of fucking shrooms that he's speechless. He's just looking at the cage with his hands over his head, his eyes fucking blaring wide. Cormier is in shock. Fucking the play-by-play guy, I forget his name. He doesn't know what to say. Absolutely fucking speechless. I'm waiting for this replay. This dude throws the fucking fake check jab. Usman goes to fucking slip it, and before he can even get his head around, this fucking foot takes his head off. He kicked this thing to fucking Brazil like Neymar would put one in the back of the net, bro. He kicked this fucking head the way Lionel Messi would put one in the back of the net for Argentina in the World Cup. This head got fucking knocked off its neck. Slump. Boom. Right to the canvas. Out cold. One shot. Gone. New champ. Welterweight division. Leon Rocky Edwards. Unbelievable fucking knockout. Unbelievable in the fact that, like, A, everybody thought the fucking fight was over. B, at that point, we're all sitting there saying Usman's just never going to fucking lose. Like, there's nobody ever is going to beat this guy. Trying to think of guys that are going to come back to fight him. Is it going to be Covington again for the 3rd time? Like, he's been the closest. Like, what is the UFC going to do to get this guy out? Because obviously they want this guy out. I don't care what they say. He's fucking boring as can be. And he doesn't put asses in the seats. He doesn't sell pay-per-views. And Dana White needs guys that are electrifying, sell pay-per-views, put asses in the seats. That's how they make their money. So at that point, man, it was just such an unbelievable knockout because, A, nobody saw it fucking coming, man. The kick to the fucking head, it was beautiful. It was a work of art, bro. The way this guy hit the canvas and was completely out. Seeing fucking birds like in a Looney Tunes cartoon. The birds are dancing around his head. Out cold. Unbelievable knockout. For me, knockout of the year. Obviously, it's the top 3 moment for me this year. Fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable knockout. Leon Rocky Edwards, my boy, made the whole room money when we all thought we were down and out. He made the whole room money when we all thought we were down and out. Shout out to him. Fucking unbelievable knockout. That's number 3. Honestly, if it wasn't for the significance of the other two in front of it, it would be number one for me. Just in terms of the sheer thrill that it brought everybody in the room, man. We were all jumping up and down like, what the fuck? Could not believe that we wound up winning the bet. Could not believe it. Unreal. Number two, local guy, New York guy, monster year. Kind of revived like baseball around the country. The significance that this guy has, I'll put it to you like this. Michigan was playing, I don't know who. It was a rivalry game. It had to be like Michigan, Minnesota, Michigan State. It might have been Michigan State. I think it was Michigan State. I'm at a bar in the city. It's college football Saturday. It's early September, maybe the second or third week of the season, and they're jumping into coverage of Aaron Judge's at-bats during college football Saturday national broadcast to show you his chase for 62. This guy, monster season. I broke it down before. 62 home runs. Breaks the AL home run record. Absolutely ridiculous. He revived the game of baseball around the country. Like, he got people to tune in. Everybody was tuning in, talking about Judge's chase for 62. And credit to him, this guy came into the season. The Yankees didn't want to pay him. They offered him a bullshit contract. Okay, turns down the contract at the beginning of the season. So now the talks are a whole year. Is Judge going to resign? Is Judge going to come back? Is Judge going to go to San Francisco? What's next for Aaron Judge? And he's just putting up monster numbers the whole entire time. Crushing balls, hitting balls fucking 400 and something feet. And he bet on himself. He hits 62. He breaks Maris's record. And gets paid, dude. And gets paid. Guy gets $400 million from the Yankees. They wanted to lowball him. He said, fuck you. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this historical season. Gets fucking paid. Paid. Pay the man. But the sheer significance of Judge's 62 is that he had everybody around the country tuned in to his chase for 62. For these college football games on Saturdays, NFL games on Sundays, to be cut into to show you Aaron Judge's chase for 62, that's significant. Baseball is a dead sport in this country. Youths in this country are not playing baseball anymore. It's just a known fact. It's a dying sport. The sport has been looking for this great revival to get kids back involved into baseball. And Judge did that for baseball this year. Like, the significance that Judge's 62 is going to have on baseball is tenfold. Because he's going to get kids to get interested in playing ball again. Into hitting, I can be the next Aaron Judge. I can hit fucking 60 home runs. I want to be the home run king. What Judge did for baseball is bigger than baseball can ever believe. And there's some news out there that this might have been a fix. There's a report that baseball this year had 3 different baseballs out. One baseball was significantly easier to hit out than the other. And the majority of these baseballs were at Yankee games. Listen, I'm not going to get into that, but it's out there if you want to go look into it. There's been reports on it. People have broken it down. Whatever. The baseball that was easier to hit out had been reported to be more at Yankee games than at any other game across the major leagues. So, was it intentional? Did baseball know that they needed this to get people to view, to get kids to start playing again, to get the sport some buzz? Maybe. I don't know. But you still got to put bat on ball. You still have to make solid contact to put a ball out. Judge's 62. Huge significance on the game. Probably brought back baseball amongst kids who were previously out, didn't think it was for them. Huge moment for baseball. Judge is 62. So shout out to Aaron Judge. He comes in at the number 2 spot. And at the number 1 spot, I split it between, because, listen, these are 3 athletes who, 2 of them are the best, 2 of them were the best in the world at their sport, okay? 2 different genders. One of them being Federer, the other one being Serena Williams. They said goodbye to tennis, okay, and the significance they both had in the tennis world. And then the other side of the coin, my 1A, is Messi and him getting the World Cup victory, separating himself from all the other players in the world, separating himself from Ronaldo, and finally becoming, in everybody's eyes, it should be in everybody's eyes, he's the greatest of all time. First, we'll break down the 1B side. As I stated, 2 of tennis' most iconic players say goodbye for the final time. Serena Williams, she hangs it up at the U.S. Open. She is the greatest women's tennis player of all time. Fuck your Billie Jean King. Fuck anybody else that you think is better than her. Serena and Venus Williams' impacts on tennis, and especially the involvement that they got women to play tennis, is unmatched. Unmatched. They got women to believe that they can be fucking top of the line professional athletes and take the world by storm, which they did. Serena more than anybody. I mean, Serena walks away. She has 23 majors to her name. Forever changed the sport on the women's side. Forever. It could be argued she's the greatest tennis player of all time. Like, overall. Throw sex out the window. She's the GOAT. Serena's the GOAT. Great career. It's sad to see Serena walk away, because it's like, you see these people walk away, man, and you like realize like how old you're getting. Like, when I was young, Serena was just coming into the game and she was a thriving star. Like, winning these championships at like 18, 19, 20 years old when I was a kid. Like, when I was 7, 8 years old, Serena Williams was just dominating the sport. Absolutely dominating the sport. And you could see over the past couple of years, like, her game has slowed up. She also became a mom. She got married. So I don't think the game was as much as a focus for her anymore as it was in the beginning of her career. And that happens, you know. It happens. She already accomplished everything that she wanted to in the fucking sport. She won all the Grand Slams she wanted to win. You know, she won all the major events she wanted to win. She was at the top of the food chain. I mean, what was really left for her to chase? You know what I mean? So it's sad to see Serena walk away, because it's like, holy fuck, I'm old. But at the same time, like, it's another idol that's gone. It's another idol for like my generation that's gone. Just seeing these people like walk away from sports, and they're gonna be figurehead talk heads, and like maybe they go into broadcasting. It's just like, fuck. Like, you remember when Serena was like dominating tennis? Like, she was getting on the court and people were legit scared to play her because she was a fucking animal on the court. Serena retires, and then like, it's so weird because Federer retires the same year. Like, Federer is also like a guy, he's won 20 major titles. A lot of people consider Federer the greatest to ever play on the men's side. He walks away, plays his final game alongside, this is why this was a touching moment, okay? Like, if you have any heartstrings, if you're not cold as ice, Federer's last game, he plays a doubles match with his longtime best friend, Nadal. They wind up losing the match. After the match, just continuous standing ovation for Federer. Tears coming from his face, tears coming from Nadal's face. Federer had been beaten up by injuries over the past couple of years, wasn't able to compete in the big majors anymore because of nagging injuries that kind of debilitated the back end of his career. But Roger Federer is dominance on the fucking tennis court. This guy, year after year, huge victories and huge major championships. He's, to me, the best male player of all time. I know you have your Nadal. I know you have your Djokovic. I mean, this is a great generation of tennis, but to me, Federer, hands down, the best male tennis player of all time. So he has the standing ovation. He's crying. Nadal's crying. And then he gets carried off of the fucking course on top of shoulders. And a really touching moment for sports, I got to say. I watched the video of it. I did not watch his last match live, but I did watch the video of it before doing this podcast. And it really is a great send-off for just a tremendous player, and I think one of the best to ever do it. So, Rafael Nadal retires, Serena retires. Fuck, man. Like, Pujols says goodbye. Roethlisberger says goodbye. Like, that's four major idols of this generation across sports that said goodbye to sports in 2022. It's sad. It's sad to see these people stop playing sports, but it happens. I mean, we grow up, and our idols become fucking commentators and play-by-play guys, and, you know, they just fade away into the sunset. So that's the 1B and 1A to me. No longer a conversation. Lionel Messi is the greatest of all time, man. Wins the one trophy that was eluding him his whole career. World Cup, glory. He finally gets it. They beat France at PKs, obviously this year, a couple of weeks back. Just to name a few things that this guy has done. Olympic gold, UEFA gold, Copa America gold, World Cup under 20 gold, Ballon d'Or winner 7 times. He's won it all, and to be honest, the World Cup victory was just the last piece of the puzzle for him to solidify the fact that he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. There's never going to be another Messi. Did you see Argentina after they came back and had the parade? They reported there was like 2.2 million people in the streets that day celebrating the World Cup victory. They declared the day of the parade a national day off because they wanted the people to celebrate the significance of this fucking World Cup. Soccer to them and winning the World Cup to them is the equivalent of the Super Bowl for any fan in New York. The Super Bowl, the World Series, and winning an NBA championship all in one. That's the equivalence. And yeah, Messi's just done it all, man. I mean, that was the one thing holding him back from being declared the GOAT. Between him and Ronaldo, they both didn't have World Cup greatness. You know, they were both searching for it. And Messi gets his. Ronaldo, unfortunately, his international career is probably over. I mean, the guy's 39 years old. I don't think he'll be on the team at 43 in 4 years. You know, his international career has come to an end. Messi's career comes to an end, and it comes to an end in glory. He's on top. Messi's at the top now. He's the GOAT. There's no more conversation about it. He's definitely the top guy. The best to ever do it. So, yeah, man. Solid top 10 there. Just to wrap it up for you guys. At 10, we had Ben's farewell. Number 9, we had the greatest playoff game of all time, in my opinion, in NFL history between the Bills and the Chiefs. Number 8, we had David Ortiz's ballot to the Hall of Fame, first DH to ever do it. Number 7, Shaun White says farewell in the 2022 Olympic Games. Number 6, probably the best. Well, it is. It's not probably the greatest comeback in college basketball history with the Kansas-North Carolina championship game. Kansas coming out on top. 5B, we got Miguel Cabrera certifying his spot in Cooperstown with his 3,000th hit. 5A, we have Pujols hits 700, the greatest of all time in my opinion. Number 4, Rich Strike, 80-1, absolute long shot. Never will be seen again. Never will the 22nd horse that entered into the race for the first time, ever having 22 horses in the fucking race, wind up winning the race ever again. I can guarantee that. You can put me on record for that. Number 3, the kick heard around the world, Leon Rocky Edwards. Number 2, Aaron Judge and the impact he had on the revival of baseball with his 62 home run. 1B, we had Serena and Roger saying goodbye for the final time. And then 1A, man, Messi's the GOAT. Messi is the GOAT. That's my top 10 moments of the year in 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed that list. Drop some comments. If you think somebody else should have been on the list besides, any of the guys I had on there, obviously I'm willing to conversate. We can come back on the pod next time and talk about it. If that maybe your moment was better than one of my moments, we can debate that back and forth. I was supposed to have my cousin Ryan on this podcast, so we can go back and forth between his top 10, my top 10. We might do that the next episode. For those of you that don't know, my cousin Ryan Griffo, while also trying to make a name for himself in this industry, podcasting and doing his thing in the media with his blogging. So we might have him on the next pod. Go tit for tat with our top 10s, go back and forth. I enjoyed putting this together. I enjoyed talking about this because, you come to the end of 2022, you think of, all the things that happened in 2022, all the shit that went down. I got a chance to just be able to sit down and break things down and think about them, put them into perspective, and give you a nice little list. So I'm happy I was able to do that. Sunday. You guys already know where I'm segueing to. Sunday is fucking huge. Huge. I mean, the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 12 fucking years, okay? My sanity for Sunday, I don't know where I'm going to be, in terms of watching this game. I might be, borderline straitjacket behavior because, every play and every snap is so fucking important. Because I know some of you guys don't want to hear it, but, the Jets have a legit shot at making the fucking playoffs. They need to win tomorrow. And, of course, God gives it to us this way where it's going to script out, where we're facing fucking Geno Smith, okay? Guy we drafted several years ago, playing quarterback on the other side for the Seattle Seahawks, who also need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Just like I said last week, okay? This game to Seattle is just as important as the game was to the Jaguars on Thursday night when the Jaguars just fucking stomped on our neck and basically strangled us and tapped us out in our own house, okay? 19-3, couldn't move the fucking ball. Fourth-string quarterback had to come to the game because Zach Wilson's that fucking bad, all right? I don't even want to get into Zach Wilson. He's gone. His days with the Jets are done. They're over with. Believe me when I tell you, the organization knows that the guy's unplayable. They can't bring him back. They will cut ties with him in the offseason. Thank fucking God. We don't have to watch him anymore. We don't have to witness it anymore. We don't have to fucking sit in misery and watch him fucking just shit himself every Sunday anymore. It's over with. It's over with, okay? At least we got that. Sunday, Mike White's back. Could we fucking keep him upright? Could we protect him? Offensive line, Laken Tomlinson, who I love the signing in the offseason. You have been playing like absolute dog shit. Dog shit, my friend. Pick up a blitzing linebacker. Cut them if you have to. Please protect the quarterback and keep the quarterback upright so he can make plays. And let's try and go on a run here. Because here's where we're at, folks. Tua's done for the year. Tua Tagovailoa is done for the year. Another concussion. The NFL is not going to let this guy back on the field again this year. He's definitely not coming back this year. So the Dolphins now are relying on Teddy Bridgewater to bring them to the playoffs. Okay? Guy hasn't played all fucking year. The one game that he was supposed to play, he got hurt. Skylar Thompson came into the game. So now if he's done, and you got Bridgewater at quarterback, it's going to come down to the final week game in Miami, Teddy Bridgewater and the Miami Dolphins against the New York Jets. The New York Jets win this weekend. There's no reason why the Jets can't go into Seattle. Their defense is good. Lockett's banged up. Don't know the status of Metcalf. Kenneth Walker's coming off of an injury. The Seattle defense is dog shit. There's no reason why the Jets can't go into Seattle, win this game, and set up a win and get in Week 18. And if they don't come to play and they wind up losing the game, it's on the fucking coaching staff. It's a fireball offense for me. Salah can go. If they're not prepared to play tomorrow and they're not ready to fucking win a game to send them into the win and get in scenario in the final week of the season, it's on the coaching staff. This coaching staff has to have these guys ready to fucking play tomorrow. Come prepared. Come into Seattle, smack that ass around, beat Geno Smith up, take his lunch money, and let's win a fucking game. And let's get a win and get in situation in Week 18. Jet fans are dying for this. I'm still here, motherfuckers. I'm still here. I'm dying for you motherfuckers to win. Dying for it. I just want to see the team take the next step. Yeah, it's been a great story this year. There's been ups. There's been downs. The team is still relevant in late December. All that out the fucking window. Take the next step. We need to win. We need to get into the playoffs. We need to break this drought. Come prepared to play on Sunday. If they're not prepared to play, it's an indictment on the whole coaching staff. It's an indictment on fucking Robert Saleh. And maybe it's time to fucking make a move. I haven't been on the fire Saleh train. I've definitely been on the fire LaFleur train. And I'll tell you what, if the offense looks like shit again on Saturday with White at quarterback, it's no longer the quarterback, it's the coordinator. White's been LaFleur's saving grace this year. He's been his saving grace this year. You know, he's shown that when the quarterback is capable, the offense works. I don't know, man. We have to win on Sunday. We have to fucking win on Sunday. Please. Please. Just give us the shot. Just give it the shot. I'll live with losing Week 18. I just want the shot of being relevant, of being there, of being able to say, hey, the Jets had a win and get in situation the last week of the season. What more can you ask for? From a team that's in a rebuild but is quickly coming to form, I'll take that. I'll take that. Sunday, 4:15, I'm going to be an absolute animal. New Year's Day, hungover, probably still drinking to get rid of the hangover. I'm going to be an absolute animal watching this game. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what Jet team shows up to Seattle on Sunday. We'll see. Tonight there's two great college football games, the college football playoffs. I can't wait until they expand the college football playoff because it's going to be fucking out of this world. But right now, the top four teams in the country, I believe they're believingly tongue-tied. Rightfully so. These teams should be there. They are the four best teams. TCU, Michigan, Game 1, Game 2, Ohio State, and Georgia. Folks, these games are going to be fucking good. If you're going out on New Year's Eve, catch that 8 o'clock game because the 8 o'clock game is going to be good. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think it's going to be. I really do. Ohio State's offense is good, man. I know Georgia's defense is fucking out of this world, but it's going to be one of these things where I think Ohio State could just hang around. I don't think they win the game. I do think they cover. because I just believe in Stroud and the rest of the offense is so good. And I know it's crazy, but like Stetson Bennett just doesn't do it for me. I know he wins. I know he's a good player. I know he makes plays. He just doesn't do it for me. I don't see Ohio State winning the game, but I see them being within the number. I think 6.5 is too much. I think this is going to be a tight field goal game. And call me crazy, but I think TCU is going to beat Michigan. Michigan losing their running back is a bigger story than people want to admit. They ran the whole offense through this kid, through Corum. And now I understand Edwards is a great backup. I understand that he rushed for 870 yards this year, 7 touchdowns, but he's not Blake Corum. And they ran the offense through Blake Corum. So it's going to be interesting to see them go up against this TCU team. Max Duggan having a fucking monster season. 3,300 yards passing, 30 touchdown passes. They have the running back too. They have Miller, Keandre Miller, ran for 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns. I mean, TCU's offense, dude, is ridiculous. Number 1 receiver, Quentin Johnson, 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. TCU is going to beat Michigan. Not a popular opinion. I get it. I just see it happening. I see TCU winning this game. No, Michigan's defense is good. TCU's defense is just as good, just as stout. And I don't know. Between J.J. McCarthy and Duggan, I'm just rooting for Duggan, man. Duggan's a dog. He's a dog. This is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to this game. I like TCU, man. I like TCU. I mean, the number's 7.5. I'm obviously going to take the 7.5 points, but I'm going to take TCU money line too. I think TCU is going to win the game. 2 great games. TCU, Michigan's on at 4. Ohio State, Georgia on at 8 o'clock. New Year's Eve. Hope you guys are getting out there tonight, getting after it, getting your dick sucked, getting your fucking pussy licked, whatever have you. This is a great night. This is a great night. If you're going out to dinner, then going to a friend's house, or going to a bar, whatever you guys are doing, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy yourselves responsibly, and don't drink and drive tonight, folks. Don't be an idiot. Cops are out all over the place tonight. Fucking go about your business. Go get fucking hammered, but don't drive. It's not worth it tonight. It's really not worth it tonight. I'm excited to be back. I had a little bit of the holiday hiatus. Next week we'll be back. We'll be talking. I might have Ryan on the pod. Might be talking his top 10 versus my top 10. Talking whatever happened over this weekend. The Jets, the 2 playoff games. Love you guys. Happy New Year, 2023. Please be good to me. Let's get some positive vibes going into 2023. I'll talk to you guys next time. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye-bye.